You know, I can teach this all day, right? I can teach tactical medicine all day. We do it for our police officers. We like to have our firefighters come out and teach it because they're firefighters or paramedics, right? So I always give them a hard time, right? Because we have a great relationship with our fire department, which is not every city can say that, but they're doing actual fire training, like with real fire. Something they do every year. I didn't know that. Because we're doing our active shooter training next week, department-wide. So they're doing whatever they do on their side, live fire and all that stuff. So they apologize for not coming, but usually they'll come out and teach this. And they have way more training aids than I do. But I'm gonna give you like a gloss over. Now, if you guys actually want the class, it's about an hour-ish, and then you'll get your hands like knee deep into like how to pack a wound, how to apply a tourniquet and all that. But let's save that for the firefighter. So Mary or Erica, if you guys want to schedule something with the fire department, we can facilitate that. And it's called the Stop the Bleed campaign. Again, it's a Homeland Security initiative. So they have you responding to active shooters and how to respond to medical emergencies, right? Now, it's not always associated with active killers, but can you be in a bad car accident or come up on one? Sure can. And can someone still bleed from the same injuries that you get from a gunshot wound? Absolutely, right? So again, we feel like a better prepared and better trained community is a safer one, right? So snapshot, Raleigh he and I are best friends, didn't even know it. But he already has his pack. This is his personal stuff from his car. And I'm just stealing it because I want to show off some of the stuff, and he loves it too, probably. But yeah, you take the cellophane off too, Raleigh. That's a rookie move. It's fine. You just added seconds, you gotta rip it off. But he has all the necessary tools, I think,
Everything's in there.
for gunshot wounds and/or traumatic injury. I'm real big on my own for medical stuff because you can down a threat all day. Most likely, there's gonna be more people hurt than shot. Bad guys, right? That's why I stopped carrying like 3 magazines of rifle. I carry 2 and that's it. And the second one's only for if I have a malfunction, I can fix it. But I learned late in my career overseas, the firefights only last so long because we just dominate. But it's the injuries that we have to tend to. So this is my personal mass casualty kit. There's 2 officers, myself and another one, a detective, that we say we have our own stuff because that's how much we're passionate about the medical side of things. But I don't know, don't ask me how this happened, but there's extra money in our budget. So our chief authorized like more of these mass casualty kits for the patrol division and for the park and then for each school. So, and when the chief said, hey, order more mass casualty bags, I was like a kid in a candy store, right? I was super excited. I was like, yes. So we're being proactive in that effort. Do we say, oh, well, that's a firefighter job? No, it's not. It's everybody's job, public safety. So just know that we're going to have more of these MCI kits, mass casualty incident bags, throughout the department and in our schools. Yep.
What typically is in a mass casualty bag?
You're already ahead of the game here. I'm going to kind of touch upon it. So each kit, if you want to buy a pre-made one, they put a markup on it. It's ridiculous. You can actually just build your own. We just went through our training evolution. Sorry, I'm just blocking it. Tactical medicine. There's our chief right here. Hey, that dude. So it's live fire. You have to shoot your threat down, the threat, and then apply self-aid, right? And that chief shot the target like 4 rounds, like right here. And they're almost touching. Now, talk about true leadership, right? I don't just kiss his tail because he's the chief. It's because he leads by example. And that's your chief, guys. He's out there because he doesn't want any of his troops saying, well, how come command staff doesn't do it? All of our senior leadership are out there doing it. They're dragging, I want to say that was 240 pounds of dead weight. They're dragging that behind cover, providing covering fire and all that stuff. So we have to do this every year. Most agencies don't do this. at all. So we do active shooter response, which we're doing that all next week, and tactical medicine every year when it's not even mandated by the state. We don't wait for the state to say, you have to do this. So that's why I love being part of this agency, because we're very proactive in trying to save lives. Right when we have that training, this happened. A citizen shot himself. He was doing a Facebook meetup, like the Facebook marketplace, and he thought he was gonna get robbed. Which, if you do that, don't go to like just random places. You can go to the police department, make your exchange, and that's it. But this dude had his gun, think he's, just in case he gets robbed, he can defend himself. Well, the transaction happened, so he takes his gun and puts it in his pocket, and he shot himself. It's not funny, but it's funny, right? Like, come on, guys. There's people out there with zero training when they get a gun. They're like, it's fun, I know the movies. And they immediately put their finger in the trigger, right? So, it was like a week after our training, a sergeant got there first on scene, applied the tourniquet. So that's a real deal, right? So, like I said, Marines use pictures. Let's keep it simple, all right? Let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
Okay? Tourniquets. So, you talk about the contents of a trauma bag. I looked at, sorry, I hate to throw you under the bus, but there needs to be a trauma kit in there too, and the one on the wall. There's no tourniquets or anything in there, so.
There's a tourniquet in there. There's two. You didn't look hard enough.
Well, I don't want an alarm to go off either. I was like barely looking in. I didn't have a search warrant or nothing, all right? All right, I stand corrected. She redeemed herself. I was trying to be all big and bad right now. Anyway, all right, so you have a trauma kit in there too, plus owies and boo-boos. Right above it?
The what?
Owies and boo-boos, Band-Aids and stuff above it.
It's all in there.
There's not a tourniquet in that metal can, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't even open that. I looked at the bag.
Oh, don't look at the bag.
Oh. Okay, and so get familiar with your equipment here then, because it's here at the wellness center or whatever it's called.
It's on
Amenity
the
center?
walls.
Huh?
It's out there on the
Did you know what was in it? Because I didn't know there was tourniquets in it. I asked, can you pronounce someone dead? And you didn't raise your hand. You're like, I can. I can tell when someone's dead. I only watched 15 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, you gotta take off that cellophane too.
Oh, like to put it back in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, your medical kit is probably safe here.
Yeah. Well,
We have to have alarms in the other ones at the schools.
No, these ones aren't.
That's why I was scared to open it.
Because
I'm like,
they're
"Oh."
supposed to be accessible. People do have boo-boos and owies. We
Okay.
don't want the alarm going
So
off.
this kit is made for actual life-threatening trauma. Owies and boo-boos are not really life-threatening, even though your world's falling apart. You think it's falling apart, but when you have traumatic injury, that's when seconds count. So, okay. So there's three things that you really need. Just simplify it. You need something to stop arterial bleeds from the limbs, right? So tourniquets. And then the box is a big deal. So we'll talk about that. But you have junctional areas where the little blue dots are. That's where gauze comes into play, because I cannot put a tourniquet on in the junctional areas, so you have to pack it. You have to pack it with, in my mind, I thought you can't use dirt and all that stuff. You can use stuff, as long as you fill in that void from that penetrating wound, you could help stop or at least slow down that bleed. And then the box itself is just your torso, and you would use chest seals. I hate using the word chest because you can put this on their back and all that. So just understand that when you seal the torso, you're keeping that bad air from getting to the pleural cavity, and then now you have bad stuff going on, right?
So it's not necessarily stop bleeding, it's more to protect the area.
It's for, yeah, so there's rules, right? So we use tourniquets, high or die, that's the terminology we use. We use our tourniquets on our limbs, and you can either self-apply it, you should know how. You get high as possible on the affected limb, nice and tight. twist it down. Basically, your hand will start turning purple. And you just keep cranking it down until you can't crank anymore, lock it in and apply it, right? The thing is, when we put these on, if you have leg injuries, traumatic leg injuries, you probably have to do 2 of them, right? Because people have some big trunks and it's hard to compress the artery itself. So the reason why, medical professionals, they'll do like 2 inches above the wound or whatever. We don't teach that at all because we don't know how far that artery has retracted itself. Remember that vasoconstriction that I talked about? That's what happens. The limb gets hurt and the artery is compromised, it retracts just slightly, but we don't need you guys to make that assessment. We just go as high as possible and then crank it down until that arterial bleed stops, right? That bright red blood spurting out. When you see blood spurting out of somebody's limbs, you're like, it's kind of shocking at first, but you got to think about a spigot. You got to stop it from leaking out, and you have around 45 seconds to stem the flow. That's not good, is it? Now, I'm not saying, well, I've been here for a minute and no tourniquet. You still put it on regardless, but just understand you could bleed out in 45 to a minute. So there is no golden hour, it's minutes now. So that's what I'm saying is having this stuff handy in your cars. I carry mine. I'm in plain clothes, so I carry an ankle kit with the same stuff on my ankle and then on my hips, right? And then there's medical stuff on my body armor, and then I have a ton in my car, right? So just understand that these components, if you don't have it, it's worthless. Yep.
And guys, if you run across an emergency like that and you don't have a kind of medical kit, use your belt.
Oh, that's a whole different class, is improvised medical stuff.
Yeah.
You're correct on that. But with these kits, it's so easy to have them now. You pay $60 and you already have everything there, you know, type of thing. But so we'll start off with the limbs first. Bright red is indicative of arterial bleed, and it spurts out. So wherever that wound happened, whether it's in a car accident and someone snaps their leg, and then you start seeing the blood shooting out, you have to get pressure on that wound, whether it's through the tourniquet or you actually apply pressure. Here's what I don't recommend is, if you're a small statured person, putting your hands on a big person and trying to hold it down, it's not gonna work out, right? It's usually just for show. Like, people just, I'm gonna stop bleeding, but they're not putting any pressure. It should be painful. Application of this, the folks overseas can attest that when they were blown up or shot and this was applied, it hurt more than the actual wound itself, right? So that's how bad it should hurt when you put it on correctly. So what's the rule on this, application-wise? Higher back, right? Easy to apply to, and they're around $32. Do not buy these off Amazon. I'm not joking. Some company paid, what was it, like 10 grand because they thought they were doing the right thing and buying a bunch of tourniquets for their company, and they're all Chinese knockoffs, like legit Chinese fake. Once you spin it, it cracks. So you buy from reputable medical supply companies, right? If you're going to invest in these. So next to the junctional area.
I have a question.
Yep.
I was taught back when dinosaurs were eggs that if you used a tourniquet, somebody was probably going to lose that limb.
That is false.
Okay.
So you can thank 9/11 and everything that happened after, medical technology, tactical medicine, the evolution of it all. So you can put stateside, you can have a tourniquet on for 2-3 hours. Is that probably going to happen? Probably not, because you're probably going to be at a higher level of medical care anyway. So that whole thing about, oh no, you're going to lose your arm is a fallacy anyway.
Good.
But I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying once you apply it on, that's not your concern. You just got to stop the bleeding. That's it. It's a great point though. Packing the wound. So junctional areas, the iliac curves, anything where the limb meets the torso itself is your area that you need to pack. You can pack in the armpits as well, in the side of the neck, or the meaty portion. If it's tough and meaty right here, you can actually pack that in. And to properly do it, again, this is what the firefighter is supposed to do, but they're not here. But say like we have a traumatic penetration wound right here, and it's compromising, I think it's compromising a artery. There's little, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of translucent, but my finger is kind of filling in this void. So theoretically, I would use this gauze, prep it, give me some tail here, and then I'm gonna make this ball, and then I just start literally packing the wound until I can't fit any more of this gauze. This whole roll should fit inside. So what we're doing is, you have this huge cavity, right? This wound channel that's not closing up, and you're literally putting this gauze in to occlude the actual artery, right? To stop it from bleeding. So once this is done, once this is packed into the wound, right? Like say I did it finger over finger, never letting loose. Once it's all done and I've packed as much as I could, all I'm gonna do is just put all my body weight on it and just hold it down for 5 minutes. And just literally just hold this. And what does the blood do after that? It clots up, right? Coagulates. And then I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna put my weight on it and just rest right here. Because that's gonna be tiresome, and I'm just gonna sit there, control my breathing, and wait for higher medical to get there, right? If I have to transport out, I will. Side note, I know I'm all over the place, but side note, if you're a critical care patient, like you're critical need, we most likely would say, you know what, you're just gonna get in a police car, you're gonna know what it feels like to go code 3 down 380. Because we're gonna take you straight to the hospital, because we don't have time to wait for an ambulance, right? So if we will make that call in the field for civilians, not so much for suspects, right? So first responders, yeah, I know it's a joke, it sounds funny, but first, civilians, innocent parties first is the priority of life. Then first responders, then any animals that are hurt or affected, and then might be a suspect down there, but I'm not moving heaven and earth for a suspect. They don't deserve that attention. I will render aid though, last. So people think that's funny, but I'm like, no, they did all the damage. Why would I reward them with saving their life? I have priorities first. So if you sprained your ankle, I'm going to attend to that first. I'm going to say I'm going to wrap up your ankle, and then someone's hyperventilating. We're going to address that next, right? Then I'll get to the suspect. So, and I'll do that. I'll say that in court. I don't care. You can sue me all day. All right. So the junctional wounds, they're tough, but you have to be able to pack them, and you can do both too. So if I have a severed leg or something, which happens on car accidents a lot, severed legs, I will apply a tourniquet and then I'll start packing the wound anyway, just in case there is arterial bleed within the pelvic girdle area. Okay. Anything penetrating into the torso, what do you call it? Like a spear, arrows, whatever. I don't know what people.
Bullet.
Forget the bullet for anything penetrating and sticking out like a piece of wood or part of a car and it penetrates in. Don't sit there and say, I got it, and Excalibur it and pull it out, right? Keep it in there. There are techniques. You can actually wrap it and stabilize it, but do not move the device. It could be saving their life too. But if you have a penetrating wound from a bullet, this is where the chest seal comes in. What goes in sometimes comes out, right? So if you find a entry wound, you would clear it off. And this stuff, I don't know what it's made out of, but it's super sticky. So whether they're blessed with hair, I'm sorry, man, I don't know what to call it. They look like a grizzly, right? You're supposed to take their clothes and try to wipe it as much as you can, and then you stick it onto the grizzly, and it's supposed to occlude that or close up that hole. Hey, us Asians, we have no hair, right? So it's easy. Clear it off, put it on. Then you pull them over and you look for an exit wound. Bullets don't travel in a straight path when it hits a target. So it could be shot up here and then it exits the back of my thigh. Okay, it's weird how bullets do. JFK, right? Perfect example. So just understand that if there's an entrance, always look for an exit, and then seal it up with. See, we should have. Do you know that person? All right, so yeah, so that's why they give you two. $11. Easy day, right? So you got $32, 11. These are 99 cents for gauze. So easy stuff to buy. Do not, I personally don't recommend, get with Raleigh if you want to build your own kit. It's cheaper just to buy like an Amazon medical kit and then just start building your own.
That whole thing.
Here's the cool thing, guys.
Like $60.
If there's a major accident or scene, then you'll have a nurse present or something. It's like, here you go. And you can actually toss to them and you'll be able to work with this instead of improvising with the belt and all that stuff, right? So again, if we get more of the populace buying their own stuff, hey, I'm not gonna refuse a tourniquet on scene, right? It better not be from Amazon, but I'm probably gonna ask you. But I'm gonna say, hey officer, you need this tourniquet? Sure, I'll apply that, right? I carry, I think 3. When I'm on shift, there's 3 on my person. So, but that's just me. I just know there's a lot more medical than killing people. I mean, hurting people. Sorry, Freudian slip. All right, so any questions on that? Yep.
So what do? You said if you got a juncture wound in the neck and you're packing it, is there any danger of applying
So,
too much pressure?
If you feel the meat part, right? Now, the clavicle area, there's the exposed artery there. You gotta be careful, you cannot pack the chest cavity itself. So some people think, oh, I got one, armpit area, and then they'll start packing this. What's right behind here? That's the lungs. So you're starting to put a foreign object into the lungs, and now you have tension pneumothorax. Like you have issues with that. So when it's meaty and it's going up, that's where you want to pack that, right? Children?
But the pressure afterwards?
Yeah, so again, this is the firefighter's job. They're supposed to teach the techniques on how to wrap this once it's packed, and you just wrap this around the arm. There's a technique, and then you can it puts self-applied pressure, like it actually would do its own thing. You guys ever heard of YouTube?
Yeah.
Like for real, there's videos on every single technique that I'm talking about. From North American Rescue, the ones that make the tourniquet, they show how their products are utilized on a mannequin, and it's a great way to learn for yourself, right? So, great question. I don't want to get in the weeds of that because it's not an hour block of training, but that's just a broad overview of things you guys can invest in.
How long are these kits good for? You buy one, when does it expire?
So it does have expiration dates. The tourniquets, if it's not exposed to the sun, directly to the sun, there is an expiration date on it. We ignore them. You know what I mean? Why would you throw away something that's never been used? I think they put it on there so that you have to replace it. Chest seals are different though, because all that sticky stuff in there. I'm pretty sure in 108-degree weather in the car, it's not good. It probably degrades a little bit. I don't throw them away. I still keep them, but I would have new ones in there just in case. I think that's the only thing that needs to be really looked after for expiration. Or if you want to buy new, because you have a lot of money coming in, so you can donate new stuff to us, we'll take it. I need my card. What else, guys? Feel free, if you guys want to kind of touch on how to pack a wound, you guys are more than welcome to come up and do that. The other thing about tourniquets, when you're training tourniquets, for those over 45, I think it's 45. Is it? What do we say in the class? 45?
It's 55.
55, one of those. You gotta be careful when you're training with the tourniquets because causing damage to your vessels, and when you put this on, it really constricts like super tight. So you gotta be worried about something. There's a medical term about it. I forgot what picture it was, but there is a medical condition that we have to be concerned with. That's why the paramedics should be here. So, what else, guys? All right, that's all I had. You guys want to come up and?